Hello everyone, welcome to this new video where we are going to discuss another UI view, the sliders. To understand the concept, let's implement it through this short application. So imagine that you need a user to enter a specific value within a specific range. So let's say, for example, the number of items. The minimum number of items is 0, the maximum is 10. So to this end, you have simply to, inside any stack, simply to type the word slider with S capital. So the slider mainly, as you can see, there are different options. So let's say the basic one is to use a value. So what is the value? The value is the input entered by the user through the slider. So since the value needs to be stored in a specific variable, we need to create that variable. So go to the section under the struct, and the variable has to be of state. So to understand the concept of state, I invite you to watch my video. So private var, and let's call it number of items. The data type of this value in the sliders has to be of data type of float. So it may seem strange since the number of items has to be integer, but we can fix this later on simply through casting. So let's say it is, for the moment, is 0.0. Now the value captured by the slider will be saved inside my variable number of items. Since my variable number of items is a state, so I need to add a $sign here. So once the value is defined, I need to define the range between which two values, or what are the limits to enter the number of items. So here we need the keyword in, and the value, the minimum one, let's say it is 0, the maximum, so 3 dots, is for example 10. Then the last parameter is the step. By how many items you would like to increase the input when the user move the slider to the right, and by how much to the left. So the number should be the same, and this is what we call step. So let's say, for example, that every time he touches the slider to the left or to the right, we are going to increase or decrease by 1. So that's it for the slider. We are almost done. So open the curly braces. Here, in fact, even if we write something that you imagine or that you can, you think it may be displayed on the screen, but in fact, no. So this is number of items. So this text will not be shown on the screen, as you can see, anywhere. So this text will be used only for the accessibility reasons. Now you have to add the minimum value label. So what we are going to display at the left of the slider here. So this is, it can be a text or it can be an image or any other view if you wish. It is simply, in our case, it is the 0. So this is the minimum label and it will appear here. The same thing for the maximum. What is the maximum label? We said the maximum is 10. So the same thing, it is text. Again, it can be an image or an SF symbol. So it is 10. So you have 0, you have 10, and you can move your slider from left to right. So something is missed. I need to show the exact value according to the position of the slider. So to this end, you don't have any choice. You have to create or to add a text UI view. And here you can say the number of items. So slash and number of items. So as you can see, the number of items have many decimal parts, and we want it, for example, to be simply an integer. So we have simply to use the casting. So int, and put the number of items between parentheses, and it is set. So you see, as each time I move the slider to the left, I am increasing the number of items by 1. Why? Because I put the step to 1. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the same to the left side. One last thing, as you can see that the labels or the text are touching the border of the screen. So I'd like to create a kind of protection or create a kind of space to not touching the borders. So you have two options, or a unique option, which is using the padding. So you can create this protection through the slider. So go to the slider, and at the end of the slider, you can add the padding like this. So you have a space, and this space is surrounding the slider, or if you wish, you can put this padding at the end of the stack. So this automatically will put a kind of protection through the whole horizontal stack. So anything inside will have a kind of white space surrounding it. Okay, so that's it for the slider. Please do not hesitate to explore and ask your questions or post some that everyone can benefit. Thank you, and see you soon in another